Welcome all to the latest edition of the C64 Roundup, your concise guide to the latest news and releases for your Commodore 64. Let us start this episode by checking out a couple of new game releases. Alf Ingve is back with his latest creation using a modified version of the shoot 'em up construction kit, Captain Ishtar, a 4-part space-themed action shooter. The premise to the game is that Captain Ishtar has been sent to investigate a remote planet. But as she flies closer to the surface, she is attacked by hostile forces. And so part 1 of the game is a first-person rail shooter where you try to shoot down wave after wave as Captain Ishtar fights to survive. The key to getting through this level is not so much avoiding getting hit, but rather making sure you shoot down as many enemies as possible in order to build up your score, so that you can obtain extra lives, every 10,000 points as much as possible. Each of the 4 parts that make up Captain Ishtar are really 4 games that are loaded separately. Which means that once you have the relevant password, you can load up and play any of the 4 parts at any order you wish. At the end of part 1, your ship is caught by an enemy tractor beam, which causes you to eject out of the planet's surface, and it's at this point where you are provided with a password granting you access to part 2, for which you need to reset your computer and load up specifically. Part 2 is a run and gun style game, which sees Captain Ishtar landing on the planet's surface, fighting off hordes of enemies. Your fighting power includes a simultaneous release of a shot from the gun and the release of a plasma bomb. You'll come across blue aliens from time to time. Head on over to them to release them from capture and you'll be rewarded with various power-ups. Captain Ishtar also has a jetpack at her disposal to navigate through the game world. At certain points in the game, you'll be given the choice of different pathways, providing further variability to the gameplay on offer. Whenever you have picked up a smart bomb power-up, the borders of the screen will go red. Hold down the joystick button to let off a powerful blast that kills all enemies on screen. I find it quite amazing what Alf has been able to produce here given the limitation of the engine he's using. Yes, there are slowdowns in a few spots, but there's no denying that there's a bit of quality to what he has produced overall. Part 3 is once again a first-person rail shooter as Captain Ishtar tries to blast off to escape, but before she can do this, she needs to fend off more enemy waves while she readies herself for a hyperspace jump. This part of the game plays in the same way as the first, but there is a lot more variety to the backdrop on offer, giving a far better sense of progression being made. Part 4 returns to the run and gun style, as after having escaped to safety, Captain Ishtar finds that her home planet of Mars has been overrun by the same alien enemy who are intent on seeking revenge for the damage she has done to their own planet. This part plays similar to Part 2, with the most notable difference being that this time you are freeing people captured from your home planet rather than the blue aliens. Captain Ishtar is not going to be the slickest game you've ever played, but there's plenty here to keep gamers entertained. It looks quite good, the music soundtrack is brilliant, and there is more than an hour's worth of fun, challenging gameplay on offer. Captain Ishtar is now available as a digital download for $4 from Cytronic Software's itch.io page. Cab Hustle is a title inspired by Space Taxi and Crazy Taxi. The goal of the game is to make as much money as possible by transporting passengers with your ship between platforms before the time runs out. Use left and right on your controller to rotate the ship, while pushing up applies thrust. When landing on a platform with a passenger, press the joystick button to collect them. Red passengers want short flight hauls, yellow ones are slightly longer, green ones even longer, and blue passengers look for longest haul flights. The status display at the bottom of the screen shows passenger information to the left. When transporting a passenger, it shows the destination platform and the remaining fare. To the right of the passenger information is the score, the remaining fuel, and the remaining time. When the time is up, the game is over. Anytime you thrust, you burn fuel. The fuel gauge in the status display shows how much fuel is left. There are fuel platforms throughout the map. You can land on those at any time to refuel. I really like the broad design of this game, where you navigate across screens to deliver passengers to the destination, and I like the graphical style of the game too. The only thing that I have issue with is the thrust control. It's too sensitive for my liking, and as a result the game felt somewhat too slippery for me. Unfortunately, Cab Hustle is only available as part of the cover disc for the latest C64 micro magazine, so you need to subscribe to its Patreon in order to gain access to the game. Hopefully the game developer will make it more broadly available, as there's no point in limiting the game's audience to a small subset of people interested in modern day C64 games. Okay, let's see what's been making news of late. RetroGL has provided the community with the latest update on his fighting game, SNK vs Capcom. The game engine has gone under continual refinement, with some impressive additions being implemented, including 3 new fighters, 2 new bonus rounds, a tournament mode, new graphical effects, special moves, 1 and 2 button configurations, and new intermission screens. RetroGL hopes to include proper music and sound effects into the game shortly. A demo of the latest build is available to download from the RetroGL YouTube video, and it's great to see that the game continues to play very well. Carrion from C64 Portal has revealed that fresh off his release of Robot Jet Action earlier this year, he has started work on an up-and-coming run-and-gun style of game set within a science fiction theme and utilising detailed and vibrant cartoon-style graphics similar to that used in Robot Jet Action. Carrion's video trailer shown here does look quite promising, but as he admits himself, he has a lot of learning to do from a coding perspective in order to pull off his vision of providing a Mega Man style of experience to C64 gamers. Carrion does not expect the game to be ready for release until at least the end of 2023. Icon 64's next release, Terrestrial, has entered the final testing phase, with the game in the hands of external testers as we speak. Terrestrial is set to provide C64 gamers with a broad variety of mini-games that will no doubt remind you of elements from other classic games such as Beachhead, Cabal, and Raid Over Moscow. With the game testing expected to be finalised soon, it looks likely that Terrestrial will see a release before the end of the year. I enjoy hunting down old new games for the C64, and here are another two that I've been playing over the past month. Quack is a highly enjoyable single-screen platform game with the objective of guiding a cute little duck through a large number of levels by collecting keys to unlock doors that will allow you to exit each screen. Fruit and gems can be collected for points, and enemies are eliminated with a projectile egg weapon. There are a wide variety of power-ups also available to help you with your objective. The game includes challenge levels that require the player to collect as many keys and fruits as possible within the time limit. Overall, the game is very well presented and is a good conversion of a game that was originally released for the BBC Micro and then the Amiga 30 years ago. Quack is a must-play for all fans of platform games and is available as a free digital download. Icicle Race is a single-screen arcade puzzle game with some really strong visual and sonic production values that initially reminds me a lot of Solomon's Key. Heavily inspired by Fire and Ice for the Nintendo Entertainment System, the objective of each level is to put out all of the fire flames by pushing or dropping ice blocks onto them. Your adventurer can create ice blocks within a short vicinity with his wand, and he can also climb up a block, but he cannot jump. There are 100 levels in total, split out into 10 different sets, and you can tackle sets 1 to 9 in any order you wish, which is great for when you get stuck on one particular level and allows you to take a break from that one and try out other levels. There's a great deal of variety within the puzzles on offer here, and I must admit that I find many of them to be quite challenging, but the game has a strong pull on me, and I'm addicted to returning to the game time after time. And that's a wrap on another C64 roundup. Hope you found a few things of interest. Activity across the C64 scene has certainly started to settle down to a slower pace, where a monthly episode might not be sustainable in its current format. We'll see what happens, but hopefully I can produce something meaningful for November to celebrate 5 years of RGN. Thank you to viewers who are able to support RGN via Patreon and Ko-fi. It certainly means a lot. Until next time, bye for now.